Good morning, this is the Eager Beaver Show.
You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Misfit Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters, CanadianTarot.com, your uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community, and the Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from farm-fresh ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind. Well, good evening, kids and cubs, and welcome to the not quite Daily Beaver Morning Show. Ah, and of course, season 5, episode number 736. I am your host, the Eager Beaver, pronouns he, him, hey, Mr. Beaver A, and I am happy and delighted to say that with me, as well, not as much usual as often as before, but I'm going to say, with me as usual is my good friend, my brother from another mother, Mr. Grizzly. Put your paws up. Yay! Today, recording day is Friday, September 12th, 2025, and it is still a gorgeous day here at the Beaver Lodge, still looking out at the sky and seeing nothing but blue, not even a wisp of cloud whatsoever.
It's going to be hot all week next week in the nation's capital. The coldest day will be 25.
Just, hey, at this part of the year, I will take it.
Dude, so this past week or two, it's been unseasonably chilly.
Yes.
Here.
There's Lola.
It's been unseasonably chilly here. Like the other day, I took Lola out I get up at 4 a.m. I take her out at 4:30 after I've showered and shaved and had a coffee. And it was 6 degrees.
Yee.
Yeah, I think that's a new record for this time of year.
Okay.
Because, as the Earth has been heating up over the last century, and it has, it's progressively getting hotter and hotter throughout September and October. And there's been times in 30 years ago, having a pint on a patio in October was a rare thing.
Indeed.
Because usually by Thanksgiving Day, everything's shut down because it just gets too cold at night.
Mm-hmm.
The last number of years, it's been very, very warm. Well, up the last week or so has been bizarre, week and a half. This week, I'm looking forward to summer weather because it's summer for another few more days.
Right.
It's still summer.
It is indeed.
I mean, in our minds, it's autumn once the kids go back to school, right? After Labor Day. In our minds, it's autumn, but technologically, not calendrically. No, that's not even a word. I just made that up. But according to the calendar and according to the seasons, it's not autumn. It's still summer. And we have meteorological changes where in the spring, they go, it's meteorologically spring right now.
Right.
Even before it's actually spring because of the weather. And right now we're meteorologically, along with the calendar, still summer. And the meteorological summer, I think, carries on up until almost Thanksgiving these days.
Indeed.
So, anyway.
Big thank you goes to our podcast founding sponsors, the Peppermaster, the Misfit Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, and PsychicTarot.ca. Mr. Grizzly, I did give some of your news to the kids and cubs, having some allergy issues. But other than that, how is your mental health doing today, sir?
Today, I'll give you a week's worth. How's that? I'll give you a week's worth really quickly.
Yes, please.
So every day I wake up at 4 a.m. And I'm not going to lie, it's been surprisingly easier than I thought it would be.
Okay.
There's a couple of days this week where I woke up and went, "Oh God, didn't I just get here?" And I look at I've been here for 7 hours.
Mhm.
I went to bed early, but I didn't sleep well. I tossed and turned. I was up to pee like every hour for. Oh, Lola, settle down, sweetheart. So, and that happens to me frequently. And at this time of year when my allergies are kicking my butt, I'm not sleeping well.
Mm.
So I'm going to bed a little bit earlier, 9 o'clock, 9:30. One night this week I went to bed at 8:30 because I can't breathe. And it takes all of your energy all day long to be a functional human being in the workplace.
Okay.
Right? It's like, yeah, people can see, oh my God, you're suffering. I'm like, don't worry about it. I'm fine. And you just do your job, you do everything, and you work with everybody as best you can. And all you're thinking in your head is, was I good enough? Did I do enough today? Because literally it's like, I don't want to be an asshole.
Right.
I don't. And when you are suffering from allergies, which again destroys your sleep patterns, you can be a little cranky. Well, the last thing I want to be at work is cranky. So it's like I get to work, and yesterday I made the mistake. 4 cups of coffee, and I was like, okay, I'm going to have a Monster. Yeah, that was a terrible idea.
Oh no.
4 cups of coffee, and I was dozing off because I did not sleep well the night before. So I had a Monster. Terrible idea. Because then I'm like, it's not working. Maybe I should. I'm like, wait, we'll wait 20 more minutes. And it's like, bing. And I was like jittery. And I was sitting there at my desk and I'm trying to type out, and I'm doing research for this. I have to build a system. So I have to research some stuff for this system. And I talked to my colleague and I said, do we have a thing? He goes, no, just go ahead and find whatever you find. I'm like, cool. That's what I want to hear. Thank you. So I'm doing all my thing, but I'm like, I can't type because I'm jittering so bad. So I'm like, all right, I'll get up and I'll take a walk. I go outside for 5 minutes. I come back in. I'm sneezing my head off. I'll take a Benadryl.
No. Claritin, but not Benadryl. No.
Well, I'm taking Arius, which is a 24-hour thing, right?
Okay.
I've got the no-name version of it, of Arius, desolotradin, whatever it is. Anyway, that's supposed to be one every 24 hours. I take them every 12 hours.
Okay.
Because 24 is they don't work. So I'm barely functioning. So it's like every now and then when I'm sneezing my head off and I can barely breathe, I'll take a Benadryl just so I can get through the day. But the problem is like now I need a caffeinated beverage. So I had a Monster, and that was a terrible idea. Look, we have a choice between Monster and Red Bull at the store in the building. And usually I'll just take a Red Bull because it's about $1 less. It's a smaller amount and it's less caffeine. And I thought, it's not going to be enough. I'll need another one. I'm going to have to spend more money. And I'm doing math in my head when I'm not sleeping.
Ooh.
I'll take the Monster. Terrible idea. Terrible idea. And every now and then I've had a Monster and it's helped to get me through the day, but not after 4 cups of coffee.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Maybe if you didn't have the 4 cups of coffee, the Monster might have gone over better. But after, oh boy.
1 cup of coffee and a Monster. Okay, I'll be a little jittery for a little bit, but I'll smooth out really fast and I can function. It's just the time of the year when I have to go to work. I have to do my job. And people are, well, I won't say depending on me, but they're depending on me to get my work done.
Right.
And I'm new there, so I want to prove myself. And
right.
Best part is like there's guys who work there who've known me from other stuff. So I'm coming in with a bit of a rep, not a huge rep, but enough to know that no, don't worry, he's completely capable. Whatever you give him, he'll take care of.
Right.
It's a very nice feeling. And I have no anxiety about am I able to do the job? That's not the question. It's like the anxiety arises when I get a thing to do and I'm like, what are the procedures here? Because I don't know all the procedures yet. And they're like, just do this, this, and this. Oh, okay, thanks. And then the anxiety's gone, completely gone. Because the work I know how to do, right? That's the easy part for me. It's the as anyone would know, when you start a new position, you jump through the hoops and which document needs to be signed and which thing. And because of where I'm working now, there's a lot more paperwork than I've ever been used to in my life. Wow. And so the job that was described to me, I am doing, but there's elements that have been handed off to other people,
Right.
which I was like, oh, I was really looking forward to that. But okay. But now they're like, so in order to do A, B, C, D to get to Z, you have all these other things you have to do. So they've actually increased the administrative side of the job.
Okay.
And that is difficult for me.
Gotcha.
It's difficult for me because I was somebody who was always on site, and I'd work with my hands and my brain and the keyboard and all that. Now it's so much. Wait a minute. Which document do I got to fill out again? And I have to fill that out in triplicate. But I'm literally driving to Toronto in a rental car. But no, you have to fill it out, send it to this department, then that department, then that department. Then you have to send it.
Right.
A little bit of stress there. Anyway, that's kind of where I am. Loving the job, loving the people I work with. It's a 30-minute commute to get there in the morning, a 30-minute commute to get home, and that includes 15 minutes of walking each way.
Okay.
So the train ride is like 7 minutes. The rest of it is just walking.
Okay.
So I get my 10,000 steps in every day, no matter what.
Right.
And then, of course, I add to it when I walk Lola.
Yes.
Who's asleep directly behind me right now. So if I move my chair, I will be the worst human being on earth, and I will bump into her, and I don't want to do that. Anyway, we haven't talked in a while because I've been,
Right.
but
our schedules are just different now.
Yeah. And I miss all the kits and cubs. I really genuinely do. I miss the chat. I miss seeing everybody in the morning. And Lola, I've come to realize misses this too, because the minute I sat down and turned all the lights on, she immediately sat right beside me in the studio, because this was a familiar thing for her.
Right.
So now she's sleeping behind me. She's like, oh yes, this is what Daddy used to do. And now it's not so much. So let's see. Okay, somebody's asking for Lola Cam. I'll see what I can do to add that in here. Hang on. I'll see if I can add her in. Extra camera. Okay, let's see. No, not. Oh, actually, that one looks pretty good, but why is it in reverse? I'll add this one in just for a minute or two so everybody can see. This is the current view outside of.
Ooh, the leaves.
Oh, hang on. We'll do one of these so you can get a better look at that. Yeah, I finally figured that.
Okay.
I figured that out. I figured out what the problem was. I didn't have that camera for a while.
Right.
And I figured out the problem. Anyway, I'll turn that one off, and I'll give you a Lola camera. Just bear with me for a sec here. And
it's interesting that the leaves have already started to turn. That must have been because of the cooler weather, because it hasn't started here yet.
So I asked a friend of mine about that, and I said, no, it's not the cooler weather. It was the weather where it didn't rain for like.
Oh yes.
It was the drought like weather that
because the leaves got stressed.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
So that started in like early August. There you can see she's literally right behind my chair.
Oh, look at her.
I'm like, there she is. There
she's so cute and adorable. I love Lola. There you go. Hello. There you go. Take a look.
There you go.
There you go. Looking right at the camera. Look at that. It's almost as if she knows.
Almost. She's like, well, she knows what a camera is, because I take way too many pictures of her. I'm like, yeah. But the thing is, it's not film. It's just digital. So click, right? Anyway.
Oh, such a cutie.
She's putting her head on the chair.
Exactly. I see that. Oh, there you go. Take a quick little look into the magic monitor here. We have Kit Linda saying good evening. We have Kit Sylvie with us. Happy to be able to watch a live event. We have Kit Robin, which is no, don't say that. Mom's the word. We have Kit Robin here, which is a new name for me, I believe. So welcome to the Beaver Lodge. Pull up a log, stay a while, make yourself comfy. We have Kit playing with 3D with us, and we have Kit Tim is here. Hey, nice to see you again. And Kit Lori Sue joining us from the US. Kit Bio is here. Yeah, exactly. So some names, and of course Kit Elaine is here.
We got to get our old pal Jake on soon.
Yes, I sent him something specifically
Okay.
today, and Kit Elaine saw it, and apparently he popped in on the show yesterday to come and take a look, but I was so busy uh, putting clips together and all kinds of stuff that I only saw his name appear once I like reread the comments after the show. It was like, ah, it was like the Pokeroo. Damn it, I missed him again.
Believe me, I understand the production side of things.
Yes, it is. This morning when I was doing the show, I was taking some stuff uh, from the press conference from Mark Carney
Mhm.
yesterday, unveiling the projects. And then, CPAC sometimes has the live one. And then when they've done the live one, they go and re-edit it because the camera starts rolling before and all that kind of stuff. And all my timestamps were off. And I'm trying to find the right timestamp as I'm doing the show at the same time. And I have to keep talking because you don't want dead air. It's impossible, and it's like my only saving grace is that I figured out that I had actually opened the wrong window to the press conference he did last Friday
Mm.
because all the settings looked the same in the background. So when I opened the right one, CPAC hadn't cut it back, and I thought, "Oh, good, my timestamps work."
Yes, Sarah Jane, this is for real life.
Yes, this
Or
is
for
for real
real life. Yeah.
life.
Just thought I'd let you know.
All right. So we are going to get into one or two topics that I didn't get to this morning, and then, of course, find out what has been on Mr. Grizzly's mind.
Well, c can we start with that? And I need to
Yes, absolutely. Let's start with that because in
okay.
case you get tired and you need to bow out at some
Yeah,
point.
that's the thing is, like, I go to bed very early because I get
Yeah.
up very early. Um, I wanna start with the obvious thing. So,
Mm,
I've had a few, people, come to me online and say, "How can you be so callous? How can you be so uncaring? How can you? How can you? How can you?" And I've had about a dozen or so people, and I've only responded to one or two, going like, I've not written anything, and I've
mhm,
not said a word.
mhm.
I've not appeared online. I've said nothing about what took place. So whatever conclusions you draw are on you
Right.
because I've not said anything. Well, you posted stuff. I go, what I posted were things that he said.
Right.
And if you're angry about that, maybe look inside yourself a little bit because, quite frankly, I didn't say those things. He did. Now, where do I stand on all this? I know everybody's waiting on bated breath. Nobody gives a shit. But let me tell you, I think what happened to him was fucking horrific.
Bingo.
Fucking horrific. It
And you
should not
saw
have
the
happened.
video, which
I
is
saw the video.
yeah.
Horrific. I vehemently disagreed with 99% of what he said. I disliked the man because he would say, debate me. And I'm like, but he didn't debate people.
Mhm.
He would throw things out at them and then change the subject. And
Right.
why did he only ever debate college kids? Because they haven't lived in the world long enough.
Right.
They don't have lived experience.
Right.
But I'm not going to get into that. I think what happened to him was horrific. I saw the video. It's terrible. It haunts my dreams.
It's
I think it's tragic that his children no longer have a father, and that truly affects me. I get emotional thinking about that. He has two young daughters.
yeah.
I'm not going to get into what he said about the
Yeah.
stuff, and you know what that was.
Yep. Yep.
I'm not going to get into that. He has two young daughters. Well, he doesn't have anything anymore because he's gone.
Right.
His two young daughters no longer have a father, and his wife no longer has a husband.
Right.
Their relationship is irrelevant, whether it was good, bad, whatever. He has been taken from this world. And the weird thing was, because of what he said, was not radical enough by the person who took his life.
Right.
Now, do we look at people like Laura Loomer and Nancy Mace and even the president who said the radical left and Jesse Waters from Fox News? Fuck all of you assholes. You accused an entire group of people without knowing what took place. And now they're trying to wipe the egg off their face.
Yep.
Nancy Mace very quickly backpedaled, and I just feel sorry for this man. Why? Because he's fucking white and male and Republican and religious? Is that why you feel sorry for him? Fuck you, Nancy Mace. I'm angry about all of these people who flew off the handle going, it's the extreme left. I'm like, fuck all of you people.
But that was the playbook, right? That when we had that little conversation just before, when on Thursday night, when you helped me with the audio thing, I mentioned, right, like, this is the playbook. This is what's going to happen next, and it's like the body hadn't even begun to cool yet,
No.
and they were at it.
They immediately, it's the radical left. I'm like, you are all horrible human beings. Every single fucking one of you who said that. You know what my thought was? I don't know who did it. They should not have done that. I did not agree with anything he said.
Mm-hmm.
I think he was a horrible human. Well, actually, let me back that up. There were a couple of things he said recently that I sort of went, we might be in agreement there. And I know you're going like, what? Well, he talked about how he was in Israel recently and he came back to America and he went, it's not what you think, folks.
Right.
Talked about Gaza and the West Bank. And I'm not getting into that. All I'm saying is we may have found some common ground there, is all I'm saying.
Yeah, on one subject, on one day, and one thing, yes, absolutely.
Hey, look, let's face it, nobody is 100% wrong 100% of the time.
Right.
It's not possible. I have vehemently disagreed with most of what he talked about. And I have watched him, and he made the mistake of going to Cambridge to debate college students in Cambridge. I'm like, oh, you need to understand.
Debating is a whole thing at Cambridge.
It's the United Kingdom.
Right.
Their public education system is not the United States of America's public education system. It's like their national health care system. I'll relay a quick story to you about how Ozzy Osbourne, because I just listened to his book called I Am Ozzy, which was narrated by somebody else who did it in a Brummie accent to sound like Ozzy. But there was a passage towards the end of the novel, the biography, where he says, he sees this specialist in Los Angeles. He goes, oh my God, that's amazing work. How much did that cost you? And he goes, nothing. He goes, what do you mean nothing? Nothing. NHS, yeah, England, healthcare. We take care of one another. And this doctor was astonished by that. And I'm like, yeah, well, it's also the English education system. Now, that being said, again, Ozzy fell through the cracks because he had ADHD and dyslexia, which we didn't know about back then.
Right.
Now that we do know about these things, we're making accommodations for children who we realize are equally as intelligent.
Right.
Just we need to learn how to teach them better.
Right. You got that. Yep. Yeah. Well, yeah, you would know.
Yeah. Anyway, to get back to it, what happened to Charlie Kirk was horrific. It's traumatic. I saw the video. It was brutal. And it was wrong. I disagreed with him. I didn't want what happened to him to happen to him. I did not want that.
Yeah.
I would prefer to have stood there and screamed in his face and tell him how wrong he was. And I will never get that chance now because somebody who was extremely right-wing, they called them Groypers, Groyper.
I had to look that up.
Yeah, so did I, because I didn't heard of it. And I talked to my buddy earlier who works in counterterrorism. He goes, oh, yeah. And he gave me a whole speech about that shit. So thanks, bro. These are extreme right-wing individuals who Charlie Kirk was not right-wing enough for them. Number one. Yeah. Number two, he criticized Trump because he wouldn't release the Epstein files.
Yeah, and then sort of pulled back after he got a call from Trump. But initially, and we're sort of learning that there was a bit of beef between Nick Fuentes, who is the head of the Groypers, and then Charlie Kirk. And there's this thing going on right now, what Fuentes was saying about Charlie Kirk in August 2025 versus what he's saying about him now. And it is not the same thing, because in August 2025, Mr. Fuentes did not have much love for Mr. Kirk.
Yeah. Well, PNC Bio's summing it up quite well. I am conflicted because I want to be empathetic. But Charlie Kirk literally said empathy was weak and for the stupid.
And
So to
invented by
have
the left.
empathy feels like it might be disrespectful. Bro, I'm feeling you.
That's what I mean. I'm like you, right? I don't know how to feel. And the fact that I'm horrified by the event
Mhm.
itself, I'm
Yes.
horrified by the fact that we are descending to this level of violence. I am horrified by the fact that there are some people that are so eager for a civil war that they don't even want to wait until that they are tripping over the body in order
Yes.
to assign blame to the people they wish were guilty.
Yes.
Like instead, in order to get themselves the permission structure to again be as awful as they would like to be. Because I'm horrified by all of that. And yet at the same time, it's like, uh, well, it's only a matter of time that this was going to happen to someone, given the just level of political fentanyl circulating through the system.
We've
I'm
talked.
neither shocked, I'm neither surprised, and I don't feel particularly moved. It's more like, oh, well, you know, like what a but even in my horror, it's like, oh my God, what a horrible thing. But it's not like, oh my God, what a horrible thing, because I am not shocked. I was expecting it. And as you said in our conversation, I'm actually surprised it didn't happen sooner. Not
I
necessarily sooner to
happen.
Charlie Kirk, but
No,
to
no, just
someone in
someone.
that movement,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
A big high level figure in that movement that, because I mean, I am numb by the helplessness at this sense of inevitability that this was going to happen,
Yeah.
and now it has. And I
Yeah.
don't know what to do with that feeling. I don't know if that says anything about me, that I'm
Well,
a terrible person, that I can't be moved enough,
let me
in
throw
that
this one
sense,
out.
but
Who's next? Because somebody else is gonna. It's gonna happen again. I I hate that I
nobody's
had to
learning
say
from
that,
this,
but it's going to.
because nobody's learning from this.
Well, what it look and oh boy, this is going to piss off a lot of people. But live by the sword, die by the sword. What did Charlie Kirk say about the Second Amendment?
Yeah, and see, in that part, I'm trying not to get into. There are
I'm
things
not saying that
yeah,
he
yeah.
didn't deserve what happened to him. He did not.
Exactly. There are things you how would I put there are things you think as a human,
Mhm.
right? When something happened. When it first happened, there were my initial thoughts, right? And to have those initial thoughts is human. It's what you do with them, right? It's what public face you are going to present. And I had a conversation with a kid in the show at one point, asking me on a certain subject why it is I wasn't taking a more definitive stance, and I tried to explain that, when we do, and successfully, the person understood and understood my point. So there was no conflict here. It was a very civil discussion. It's like, here's where I stand. Oh, I'm explaining where I'm coming from. Oh, I see where you're coming from. I understand better now. So it was that type of conversation. There's nothing vehement about it whatsoever. Um, okay. Yes. Yes. Uh, and I was explaining, that number one, as the host of a show, I have a certain public responsibility as a very, very, very minor public figure in this overall big world of pod, podcasting and political commentary. I take my responsibility seriously. I don't just want to pop off at the mouth. And I also understand that, you know, I have viewers and listeners, we have an audience that believe a wide variety of things on a certain topic, and I want to be able to speak to all of them, right, in a manner that is respectful to all of them, and trying not to make the audience feel bad because I might have a different position than they do. So I try to look uh, a little more broadly, you know. And be more judicious in the words that I use, more tempered, have more temperance in the words that I use than I might have if I was just having a one on one conversation with a long term friend who knows where I'm coming from. So if I happen to say something that's a little dark, something that has a little bit more of an edge, that they know my heart, they know my soul, they know from what place that is coming from, and that the darkness and the edge is not necessarily a reflection of my deeply held values or beliefs, but maybe just this momentary thing, you know, given uh, how is febrile a word in English? Febrile, I'm thinking in French, but that the emotions are like this, right? The everything's vibrating, and things are very, very, very sensitive, right? Um, so I'm trying to practice that type of responsibility with this, when we're talking about someone, like you said, that I don't really know that much about, because I've heard the name Charlie Kirk.
Mhm.
I know a little bit what's about. I've seen newspaper articles that say, like, Charlie Kirk said, but I've never watched any of his content. I see these things go by when I'm doing research for the show. Charlie Kirk takes on 20 some people like this. I don't click on it. I don't watch that stuff. It's not
Fair point.
because I know it's going to be an exercise. I was a member of the debating team. I know it's the
Yeah.
national debating team. I know it's going to be an exercise in sophistry. I'm not interested in it. This type of stuff, that
Perfect.
content doesn't appeal to me
Yeah.
whatsoever. So I'm not as familiar, even though I'm in the podcast space, even though I'm on one side of the political spectrum. I was just never interested enough in him. I didn't care enough about his product to want to go look into it, because I didn't think that there would be anything really of value for me to get. I figured I would just be sitting there and go, well, that's 20 minutes of my life I won't get back. And so I didn't. But I know that he doesn't like people like me,
Mhm. No, definitely not.
right?
He thinks you're against the expansion of the human race. I don't know.
Yeah.
His ideology was not something I could ever embrace, like ever. Like it
Yeah.
was, it stood against everything that makes me who I am.
And I understand that I get intellectually that it's hard, sometimes even impossible, to feel empathy for someone would not feel empathy for you
Oh yeah.
at all if the roles were reversed. But I'm still a human being. It's like, I don't want, I say it often on the show, like, I wouldn't wish this on my worst enemy. And I remember you pointing out to me at one point that me saying that was actually, it's like, because, th- th- there's a lot of stuff that we do wish on our enemies. Because,
It's
but
very true.
that is not one like this. And I'm still, nobody is like Charlie Kirk, Rachel Gilmore, what's happening to both of them.
Terrible.
Nobody under any circumstances for any reason whatsoever deserves that.
And
And
you know
it's
what?
just not in my makeup. But at the same, and that's where my conflict emotionally is. It's like, something is telling me I should feel more, and
Mm.
yet I don't. I'm not
Well, yeah.
celebrating the fact. I'm not joyous. I didn't want this to happen. I never wished for it to happen. And still it happened. And I'm like, yeah, what can you
Eh,
do?
Well,
And
look,
that's terrible.
I will. So, some of the commentary I've read and heard lately has gone, I think, a little. Now, this is going to be controversial when I say what I'm about to say, but I don't care because I know I'm on the right side of history on this one. Some people have been saying nobody deserves to have that happen to them. And I will say Charlie Kirk did not deserve to have that happen to him.
Okay.
But I guarantee you there have been human beings who have deserved that.
Okay.
Are you going to sit there and tell me Adolf Hitler didn't deserve something like that? Or
Probably
Pol
not,
Pot?
but Adolf Hitler did us all a favor by taking himself
He
out.
did it himself. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Pol Pot? I mean, come on. Some people deserve it. Look, I'm going to go back to the Bill Burr thing about when he got outraged watching the Oprah show, when Oprah and all the women that were on the show that day said, no woman deserves, that wasn't it. It was, there's no reason to ever hit a woman.
Mhm.
And he went on, and they went, no, there's no reason to ever hit a woman. And Bill Burr's bit was, oh, I'll give you a fucking reason, but you don't do it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
He says, you don't do it, but I'll give you a reason. To say that you don't have a reason to do that is wrong. To say that nobody deserves that is wrong. Did Charlie Kirk deserve that? No, he fucking did not. I vehemently opposed 99% of what he said. But I didn't want to see that happen to him. Yes, exactly. PNC Bio. I have endless sympathy for his loved ones. His daughters. He has 2 daughters who no longer have a father. He was taken from them. And that is fucking wrong. Well, there you go, Carlos. Yeah. What would we feel if it was Vladimir Putin? Are you going to tell me he doesn't deserve that treatment? Are you going to say there's no reason to do that to Vladimir Putin? I'm not going to come right out and say there is, but I'm not going to say there isn't.
That's what I mean. This is where this thing gets so complex.
Right?
Right? It's like people who do evil, I want them to be stopped.
Yes.
Because, and then you get to the point, by any means possible.
He didn't deserve it. I hated what he said, but I wish he was here right now so I could scream in his face why I hated what he said.
Mm-hmm.
And I am robbed of that by somebody who is more extreme than him.
Yeah.
And that's what it boils down to. Someone who is more extreme than him.
Yeah. And the irony of all of this is because nobody's learning from this, and this is the situation, right? It's like that big civil war that they want so badly. The civil war is MAGA versus MAGA. But MAGA, like full Trump, or MAGA, I'm not sure about Trump because Epstein.
Well, and
right? But it's MAGA versus MAGA.
Let's put this one out there from Lori Sue. The school shooting was apparently covered by local media. Just local.
Well, that was the other thing. There was that school shooting, and yesterday was 9/11. 9/11 didn't pop into my mind at all yesterday.
It was
as a result of
completely
that.
eclipsed by what happened to Charlie Kirk.
And I did not know about the school shooting until somebody mentioned it, and then I looked it up, and it's like, oh, that happened too. Gee, why are we lowering the? Why are they lowering the flag at half mast for him, but not for anybody?
Hello, how about the thousands of people who died on 9/11?
Right, and
the school shooting yesterday. How many mass shootings were there yesterday?
Yeah, that's
or the day before. Like, come on, America. I used to love you, but I don't anymore.
Now we wonder about you.
We're severely concerned. I have friends and family in that country.
Mm-hmm.
Dear friends, loved ones, and I am not venturing south of the 49th parallel. Possibly never again. Definitely not while Trump is in that office. Possibly never again. And I have a number of friends who own properties in Florida. He used to go there for the winter. They've sold them.
Mm-hmm.
And others is like, we're going to Cuba. I'm like, really? I'll give a shit. Not going back there ever again. Because of, and it's not even just what just took place. That's beside the point. It's all the tariffs. It's all the hate. It's all the 51st state shit. It's all of it. 10,200 gun deaths this year in the U.S. alone. Holy shit.
Thank you for
I
that.
lived in towns smaller than that.
Yeah. Thank you for that fact kit, Carlos. Yeah. So, yeah. So the event happened. It's terrible. The playbook was being followed to the letter.
To the letter.
Everything that we could expect would happen after this, that we've seen happen so many times before, just on a whole other scale, given the level of public consciousness Charlie Kirk occupied.
And it was he had a big look. I think he brought in $79 million last year in donations.
Right. That's a lot of people donating.
You know, if you and I decided, let's go extreme right wing and say stupid, outlandish shit, We could get rich.
Oh, absolutely.
Here's the thing. I have said from day one, I don't need to be rich. I just want to join the middle class.
Yeah.
That's it. I just want to be comfortable. I don't need to be rich. Also, if we suddenly had $79 million, do you know how many people we would help with that money?
Right?
Can you begin to understand how much good we could do in this country? Creating programs that the government should be creating.
Right. A scholarship fund?
Have you seen what they did in Gatineau recently, in Hull?
What?
So the Bob, the Bob Gertan Arena?
Yeah.
The Bob. They tore that down a little while ago.
Right.
And in its place is sort of a pseudo-homeless RV park and a tent park.
Okay.
And right beside that, the city of Hull, or Gatineau, and the province of Quebec have built a community. It's fenced in. It's 100 units they built it out of storage containers, sea cans.
Right.
Shipping containers, whatever you want to call them. And there's 100 units. There's currently 83 people in there. Now there's rules, like you can't have any visitors, and you're responsible for keeping and maintaining the cleanliness of it. And I looked at them and I'm like, they're small, but you have a shower, a toilet, a full kitchen with a sink and blah, 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 and a TV and a bed and a safe place to sleep at night. More than anything else, that's what anybody who is living on the streets wants. So you have to obey a certain amount of rules, and they will get you into the program. You need to have, I'll say, for want of a better term, a social assistance. Okay. And they charge you 20% of what your social assistance check is.
Right.
So there's been a few $1 million that's been put in by the province of Quebec to build this community. And somebody said, well, how much is that costing us? And they go, $22,000 per person per year. Well, that's an insane amount of money. You do realize that guy just over there living in a tent and all of his cohorts, they cost us $72,000 a year.
Right.
So by building this community and housing people and graduating people from this community into an actual apartment, which they've had about a dozen or so that have already done this, we're saving $50,000 per year. Once again, UBI and housing people is cheaper than having homeless people on the streets.
Yep. It's proven.
It's proven so many times.
Right.
So why aren't we doing it everywhere? Look, let's look at, bear with me for a moment.
Okay.
Let's look at the United States of America and how they talk about the 50s and make America great again.
Mm.
Like, okay, America was great if you were a cis-het white male. If you were a woman, if you were a person of color, if you were part of the rainbow community, which was not a thing back then per se compared to today, but we'll just leave it at that because that was not great. But unions were strong and huge, and people were paid a living wage.
Right.
There was a gigantic middle class, and people bought homes. Let's not forget about the fact that, companies that earned over $10 million a year, you paid a 90% tax rate, anything over $10 million.
Right.
So what did those companies do? They put the money back into the company to get tax breaks by building things like, training programs and providing mortgages for housing and building communities and doing things to get their tax rate down. And it benefited everyone. So if you want to say what was good about the 1950s, that was. Here's the funny thing. All these MAGA people who want the 1950s all over again, they only want the parts of the 1950s that harmed other people.
Right.
That's it. They don't want the 90% tax rate. They don't want strong unions. They don't want a gigantic and robust middle class. They just want to make sure that people who don't look like me feel like they're in their right place. That's all those.
I feel you. I feel you.
All they want. That's all they want when they say "Make America Great Again," like it was in the 1950s. You mean take away all the good things and throw in all the bad stuff.
Yeah, indeed.
Apologies. There was somebody at my door a few minutes, one of my neighbors, so that's why I had to step away for a second.
Yeah, no worries.
I might have to dip soon because 2 pints of lager on a Friday night, and I'm ready for bed at like 8 o'clock.
All right. Well, before you go, just wanted to ask because we don't have an opportunity. Did you hear anything about the announcement on the major projects? And
I did,
have any
and
thoughts?
I read a little bit about it. And the one thing I thought was very interesting. Mark Carney and Danielle Smith want a company to build a pipeline. I'm like, yeah, no, that's not going to happen. No company's going to do that. Why do you think Justin Trudeau had to buy a pipeline? Because no company is willing to do it. Because the level of negotiations and red tape and things that they have to jump through, the hoops they have to try and make this happen. Why? Because you have to pass it across Indigenous lands.
Mm-hmm.
And the folks who live there going, where's my cut? And people are going like, well, why should they get a cut? Oh, I don't know. Maybe because they were here before we were for, 10,000 years. Maybe we need to pay respect to the folks who actually occupied this land for several millennia before we ever set foot here. Maybe we should, perhaps if we're going to put a pipeline through their territory, we should maybe just, negotiate some sort of financial fiduciary settlement, if you will. It's not happening. No company is going to build a pipeline. It's never. If you want another pipeline, the federal government's going to have to do it because it's not going to happen by a private corporation because it's going to cost them way too much money. And oil starting to decline.
Mm-hmm.
And let's face it, Alberta oil is expensive.
Mm-hmm.
It's not cheap. What's the minimum? Is it $40 US a barrel is the minimum for it to be profitable?
For some reason, I have 68 in my head for some reason, but
I can't remember the number. It's an arbitrary figure at the moment.
Yeah.
But the profitability is going to dip because solar is now cheaper to produce energy than it's ever been.
Right.
And there is a small company in the United States of America. You don't know about this. This is going to be new to you. They're building a tokamak reactor, which means a fusion reactor. And it's from doctors, like PhD, nuclear energy people from MIT who are building this. Now, there's a big tokamak happening in the south of France, and it involves multiple European and North American countries. This company out of MIT is building this, and they are going to. So the tokamak in southern France is an experimental thing to see what we can do with nuclear fusion. The one that's happening in the United States, funded by MIT and built by MIT, is going to produce electricity to put right into the grid, and they've already figured out how to do it. So what this means is that oil is very quickly disappearing,
right?
Because we can produce a ton of electricity via the tokamak reactor. It's not really a reactor. Look, I'm not a nuclear fusion specialist, so you can go watch the B1M. There's a new thing about it, and you can learn a little bit. I don't have enough knowledge to be an expert on this, far from it. But I can tell you this, it's a way to produce cheap electricity that can power all of the United States of America from one little plant.
Okay.
And they put a few of them around the world and we're good to go. Which means that oil is going to disappear for power. Now, are we going to get rid of oil completely? No, we've talked about this. No. Go to a hospital. Everything in there is made from petroleum products. Everything.
Right.
It's like pick something in a hospital that is not petroleum based. Good luck. Petroleum is not going to disappear anytime soon. It's not. It's going to be around for another 100 years at least. However, it will no longer be part of our transportation network. And
Right.
that is happening very quickly. Very quickly.
Yes.
'Cause you look at the maglev trains they have all throughout China and
Right.
Japan, and if they start to build those here and can power them with nuclear fusion technology,
Right.
which they can build for next to nothing and provide power for everything. I'm really big picture here right now.
Yes.
Pie in the sky, but you hear what I'm saying? It's like oil is dipping. So what is Alberta going to do? You want another pipeline for what and why? Why? You were leading the country in green energy programs. And what did Danielle Smith do? What did Doug Ford do when he came in? He pulled the plug
Yep.
on recharging stations.
And I think and some aeolian energy as well. Like
Yes.
I think he actually took stuff down that was actually built.
It's like Doug. Now Doug's all in on green energy and battery recharging.
Yes.
Why is that? Oh, a few of his billionaire friends have decided to get into that business. So now he's full in on green energy. It's all a big game, folks. And we're the players who are getting played.
Indeed. Indeed. Okay. And the other thing I wanted to ask you about that has been going on was a little bit like tonight's the night that the membership of the Ontario Liberal Party, those who are going to vote on whether or not Bonnie Crombie has the future as the leader of the party. And I was wondering if you had any thoughts on should she stay or should she go?
Well, we talked about this a while back, actually, when
Nathaniel.
Yeah, and we showed the video.
Right.
And I went, okay, she started off real strong.
Yeah.
And then just brah. like brah. Like brah. What are you doing? Started off real strong. Here's what we did. But we also no. Stop. Just like who in their right mind decided that was a good video to release? And Nathaniel was like, I agree. That was stupid. Because it was.
It was.
It was stupid. Like you started out great, and then you just, I don't know what the hell you did. And I don't know who advised them that this was a good idea. Perhaps I got to be careful what I say. I have to guard my words.
Yes.
The conversation you and I were privy to with another individual who was in the know, who talked about how a certain particular political party had their forecasters, if you will.
Yes.
And their guiding people said, oh yeah, this is gonna, and no, it failed miserably.
Right.
And he sat in on that conversation and said, what the
right.
And you and I sat there and had that conversation with him, like, what? And he said, all I wanted to do is scream at them, go, you're lying. You're telling them what they want to hear, and it's not the truth, and they're going to fail miserably. But he couldn't do that. Because of the position that he was in, he was not entitled to do that.
Right.
Which gives us the unique position of being able to say things in the future. Not about that particularly, because you know what I'm talking about. Right. Sorry to be vague, folks, but some things we are privy to that we can't divulge. But
we get it on background.
Yes, but we can say things like, there are oftentimes people in leadership roles who are telling other people, this is a good method. And we're looking at them going like, no, it's not. Where did you come up with this? Are you a boomer thinking this? Is this boomer thinking? No, it turns out it was millennials telling them this. Mm-hmm. And other millennials were going, what the And Gen Z kids are going like, you guys are stupid. And we're just sitting there going like, yeah, Gen X. You don't listen to us, so you'll just suffer. You'll just suffer as a direct result. Maybe you should listen to us. We've been there. We've lived some of this. We know how it works. And what you're doing, it's not working.
Yeah, indeed. One last one, if I may get you before you go.
Sure.
The whole sort of, it's not a book ban in Alberta where, here's an order. How dare you interpret my order the way
The
that
way
I
I said
actually had it written down? Why did you not read my mind? I will have a new order for you in a couple of hours. 5 days later. Come out. And
Yeah.
the new order's worse than the I mean, it's not worse in the sense that there are fewer books that end up being banned as a result, but it creates a whole pathway for this very aggressive and angry demographic of, well, either parents or people that don't even have kids like this that are seem to be, advocating on behalf of, like, nobody asked you to speak for us, but they're speaking anyway. Being
Yeah.
able to go into individual classes to look at book collections in individual classes and then use whatever their personal standard is. And, like, I'm just seeing lots of opportunities for potential violence in the classroom between these people
Well,
coming in and the teacher that's there. Not to mention the whole unpretzeling yourself because now written smut is apparently okay so long as there are no pictures.
I just,
I don't get this thinking.
for me, it was the whole, how dare you follow my rule to the letter that I wrote and
Vicious compliance.
comply exactly the way I said you should. How dare you do that? But we're just doing what you told us to. But that's not what I meant. Oh, well, that's what you fucking wrote. So we observed it. Now I know they went overboard, but they did it intentionally. And I'm
Yes.
happy they did. I'm happy they did because the blowback was tremendous
Yes.
from both the board, from teachers, from students, from parents, from other politicians going like, this is not Gilead. We don't do this. You censored books that have been in the curriculum since before we were born, for Christ's sake. What the So, look, it's not going to bring down Danielle Smith's government. It won't.
Yeah.
It won't. I wish it would. She seems to have a bit of Teflon on her for some reason. I don't know how. I don't know how.
I know.
Because she missteps so often. She not only missteps, every now and then she just steps in it blatantly by, hey, I'm going to Mar-a-Lago to make sure we still have it. You don't get to do that. That's not how it works, Danielle. You're the premier of a province. You go under the guidance of the Prime Minister of Canada. And when he says, come with me and we'll all pitch why you should continue to do business, why you don't do it on your own. So how she survived as long as she has is beyond me. The recent thing with the book ban, and I'll give you a new thing. It took her, 5 days to come up with something? 5 days? Really? Really? Maybe, why didn't you just throw the whole thing out that you wrote because it was bullshit to begin with? I want to get the smut out of the schools. Yeah, so we've actually had conversations with individuals who work in that realm and said there's actually no smut. High schools have books that we could go, ooh, that's ribald. But elementary schools, primary schools, there was nothing. There was no smut. There was no pornography. There was no graphic stuff. Like, nothing of that existed in those schools. But somehow she seems to have, I don't know, grabbed a hold of a few zealots and had them propped up enough to make noise. I mean, we could talk about David Parker, but
Why?
why? I mean, really, why? I'll let our friend David Wallace deal with that prick.
I know that you're hitting your wall there. Is there anything else that you wanted to chat to the kids about before?
Yeah, two quick things.
Okay.
Sorry, my phone just went off. What was that? Weird, strange. Hang on, what's this? Sorry, oh, great. Yeah, I paid my bill. Why are you sending me a notification to say I paid my bill? I wanted to tell everybody that's taking time out of their night to watch us live, and those who will see us later. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for all the thoughts and the comments that you've made. I because of my new job and the schedule I have to keep, I don't even get to see much of the show. Like I watch a little bit of it and then it's like, I got to go to bed. Like, and I don't even, it's like, I won't even sit down in front of a computer. I'm in front of a computer all day, but I can't be looking at stuff like this.
Yeah.
So by the time I get home around, and it can fluctuate between 2 and 2:30. It depends on what time I leave the office, the train I catch. And then I'm out with Lola for at least an hour, sometimes an hour and a half. So I get home at 4:00 ish, have some dinner, sit down. I'll watch a couple of minutes. Like I need to empty my head. If that makes any sense. It's like I can't, because I'm throughout my day I'll be reading CBC, BBC, and Deutschwelle while I'm doing work. So in the evening, I'm kind of like, I can't talk about this. I can't think about it. I got to put it away because if I let my mind wander, I'm not going to be able to fall asleep and I got to get up at 4 a.m.
Right.
So it's like, I got to wind it down as quickly as possible. So by 6:00, I don't look at anything. I try not to. Sometimes I'm not successful, but most nights I just off the Twitter, off the Facebook, off all of that stuff, not looking at news. I've just got some YouTube video, documentary, something on the television. Lola and I are cuddling on the couch and Bridget's cuddling beside Lola because Bridget wants to cuddle with me. And then Lola stands there and stares at us and whines. And I go, she's upset that she's not beside me. And she goes, are you serious? I go, yeah. So I said, watch, move over. She'll get in, she'll squeeze in and she'll cuddle with Bridget for about 10 minutes and then just flop right on top of me. She's like, oh my God. I go, that's what it is. I'm her daddy now. I'm her daddy. So, daddy has responsibilities and he has to get up every morning at 4 a.m. And it's been an adjustment, surprisingly easier than I thought. Although every day this week I was like, ugh, wake up, feel like I had 14 pints the night before and I've had one or none. And it's just, it's between allergies and sertraline. So the dreams I have are so vivid and wicked and wild. One of my colleagues, I was talking about this the other day and he says, oh yeah, the dreams. I'm like, he's on a different medication, but same effect.
Okay.
The dreams are so vivid. You wake up and go, oh, none of that happened. And sometimes it's like I've been in like an accident in the dream and I wake up and oh no, my leg is not broken. I'm not bleeding. Am I? No, not bleeding. Not bleeding. No, I'm not bleeding. I'm okay. I'm okay. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay.
That's to check 3 times.
The dream is though, it takes you a few minutes. Then you crawl out of bed, shave my head, hop in the shower, get out of the shower, shave my face. I know not this part, but I don't want to grow a neck beard, and I don't want to grow my beard up to here. Yeah, you know what it is. And then of course it's like make a cup of coffee, and then Lola's looking at me, and she's like chilling on my bed. She doesn't climb in bed with me every night, but most nights she does, and I'm like, I'm fine with it. Like I just want her to have the best life I can give her. But the minute I pull my belt off the coat hook and put it on my pant, then she gets excited. She's like, oh, the belt's going on. Not belt in her head. That thing's happening. So now it's time to go.
Right.
So sure enough, 4:30 to 4:35, we're out the door and we're walking around the neighborhood. And yeah, I get back at around 5 and she comes in and flops down on the couch beside me while I turn on the CBC News to watch a few minutes before I go out the door to catch the train. And that's my day now. And it's taking, like I said, some time to get used to it. But I'm okay with it. Hey, the money's good and I like the job and I like the people I work with.
Yeah.
And it's a 30-minute commute to and 30-minute commute from. And most of that is walking. The train ride is like 10 minutes on a bad day.
Mm-hmm. I am so happy that you're getting paid what you're worth. Finally.
Thank you.
How does it feel?
Well, here's the weird part. Here's the weird part. I actually lowballed myself on that.
You did?
Yeah. Well, so he said, what's your, I said, here's my basement. And he goes, oh, we start at this now. Yes. Oh shit. I should be getting at least $15,000 more.
Gotcha.
I know that I don't want to be an asshole about this, but like literally that's what I should be getting, because there are people who are younger than me working there who are getting more than I am.
Right.
But only because I was just so happy to get a job offer that wasn't lowballing me. Because I had so many job offers in the last year that were like, "Oh, we're willing to give you this much money." And I went, "That is $30,000 less than I earned last year. Are you out of your frickin' mind?"
Right.
Like, I'm like, uh, in my head, I'm like, that is disgusting of an offer to somebody who's just got out of school.
Right.
That's not even enough for them. Somebody with no experience, just getting out of school, eager to learn the trade, and that's what you're willing to pay them? Go to hell, was my thought. So when this job came along, I said, "This is my basement." He goes, "Oh, we start at this now." I went, "Yes." Oh, shit.
But
I
you know,
immediately realized
but you know what you do now?
I just go up from there.
Well, no, but also like when it comes time, it's like, I think I might deserve a raise or whatnot. Says, well, I see the raise is about 2,000. Let's make it 3,500 so I can like start recuperating that 15. So when you go for a raise, ask for a little more.
Yeah.
You'll claw it back eventually.
Well, look, and here, at the end of the day, so I was talking to my colleague tonight. And I said, "Well, I get, basically 6 weeks paid leave." He goes, "What?"
Well, that's good.
I go, 3 weeks holidays, which, if I'm going to start with that, I could have negotiated for more, but they
Right.
said plus 10 sick days, plus 6 personal days. I went, 6 weeks. That's 6 working weeks. I'm
Yep.
like, I'm fine. That's the most I've ever had in my life.
Right.
Like ever. And I owned my own company for a long time. Oh, you can take as much time off as you want. Yeah. And when you come back, you don't have a company because all your customers are gone. And
Yeah.
by the way, when you take that time off, you're not getting paid.
Yeah.
So in the end, I get basically 6 weeks paid time off. I'm fine with that. Now,
Yep.
whether I use the sick leave or not is I guarantee you I will use my mental health or my personal days or whatever you
Yes.
want to call them. I will
Yes.
use those.
Yes, do.
Sick leave, and I told him, I said, "Look, I haven't taken a sick day in like 5 years." And they go, "Really?" And I go, "Yeah." I go, "If I need one, I will take one." They go, "Oh, no, no. That's why you have 10." I'm like, I still can't get over that I have 10. Like 10.
Mhm.
In the private sector, that's a lot. That's a lot. 10 paid sick days. That's a tremendous amount. And I've had times in my life where I've been sick for like 5, 6, 7 days in a row.
Right.
So sick, like I can't go to work. I got a fever of 101. Every bone in my body hurts. I can't go to work.
Or a back thing.
Oh, yeah. Like you name it, right? Those things have happened. I was like, I can't go to work today. No problem. You're not punished for taking the time off, but you're not getting paid.
Right.
And when you have 5 days where you're so sick, you can't get out of bed and you're not getting paid for 5 days,
That can make a ding.
and they're not paying you very well to begin with.
Yeah.
One company I worked with a number of years ago, the idea to make money at that company was to work 65 to 70 hours a week. And that was the only way I could make a decent living. And I hated every second of it.
Yeah.
I liked the guys I worked with and the
Yep.
girls, the guys and gals, the men and women I worked with. Sorry if I offended anybody with the the men and women I work with. I liked them very much, and I appreciated working with them. But they paid shit wages, and you had to work 70 hours a week to keep your head above water.
Yeah.
And the insulting part was, well, I don't know you, so I don't know what you're worth. And I'm like, excuse me, look at my fucking. I'm finally getting paid commensurate to what I should be. Did I lowball myself? Yes, but that's okay. It still was more than I was expecting.
Right.
Because I'd been sending so many lowballs prior to that. So it was still more than I was expecting. So I'm very happy. I'm very happy.
Looking at the comments, there are a lot of the kids that are very happy for you,
Okay.
saying like it's a nice to see you getting good things.
Well, I think this is my 4th pay. And this is the first one where I can go, pay that bill, pay that bill. Hey, I got money to sit on now. Like
Yes.
literally, I'm not debt free.
No, but
got a
you're at
plan.
that phase that had what you had accumulated while you're waiting is now starting to be, paid down or paid off, and now you have some breathing room for some luxuries, for
Well,
some, opportunities, well, minor luxuries or opportunities to treat yourself now and then, or to pick up the tab for a friend now and then or something, right? But just more fully participating in life.
and that's what it is because I've not been able to do that for over a year. And it was something Bridget and I had talked about. It's like we've not been able to do anything. So it's like now on Saturday nights, it's our date night again. We can go out.
There you go.
I can pick up the tab and not even have to think about it. Now, we're not drinking, and because alcohol is expensive as shit. We go out for dinner. We don't have it. We'll have like I'll have a non-alcoholic beer, or because I don't drink soda.
Right.
But we're just like, we'll go out. We'll have a nice dinner somewhere. No alcohol to save some money, and then we'll go out and do something else. Maybe we can go to the movies because there's a movie playing just opened today. I want to see in the theater, and can't remember what it is right now.
Okay.
It just opened today, and I'm like, oh, I'd really like to see that this weekend. Can't remember what it is. I'll figure it out tomorrow. Don't worry about that.
Recommendation for you if you want to go see The Roses.
Oh yeah.
It's good.
We had talked about that the other day, and I said, "Well, is that the remake?" She goes, "Yeah, it's totally that." I'm like,
Yeah. It's
she goes,
different enough though.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's different enough.
Okay.
There are more players and it's less claustrophobic because the original one happened more inside the house.
Well, and the original one, my
And it's darker.
anxiety was like here watching
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, this one is a bit more of a romp. The first one was very, very dark comedy.
Oh yeah.
This one is a little bit more of a romp, but it's still the same overall through line. And the ending is different enough.
Okay, because
Like
the
this,
ending
it
in the
doesn't end
first.
this like the
Don't give it
ending.
away.
Yeah, it's different enough. Like I said, it's faithful to the story, but there are more players, there are more characters, more stuff happens outside the home, and the ending, it ends a little differently,
Mhm.
but it is equally satisfying in that sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know. Well, there's another film what the heck was it? It just opened today. It's driving me nuts. I can't think of it. We watched Superman.
Okay.
I really enjoyed it. Really, really thoroughly enjoyed it. I still think Henry Cavill made a great Superman. The new guy was really good. I really liked the film. And we watched the part 2 of Dead Reckoning, Mission Impossible. Really good.
Okay.
I've been watching the Mission Impossible series since day one, and the way they wrap things up in this one was really, really good. It was really well done, and of course, once again, Tom Cruise just does stunts that are like so unbelievably over the top. And it was a scene where I looked at it and I said to Bridget, I said, "That's it. Yeah, thank you. That's the film." I said to Bridget, and I go, "He actually did this." She goes, "What?" I go, "Yeah, he really did that." I go, there's safety harnesses that they erase for the film,
Right.
but he still really did that." And she's
Yeah.
like, "Good Lord."
Yeah.
Yes, thank you, sir. You just sent me the message. Spinal Tap 2. That's the film I want to see this weekend. And I don't think Bridget's ever seen the original, so it's like, well,
I haven't either,
oh,
actually.
really?
Yeah.
Oh God, it's one
I
of my
was too
favorite.
young.
I suppose I was 16 when it came out.
Yeah.
So there's some people like who didn't like the film. Ozzy Osbourne, Steven Tyler, they didn't like the film,
The
and
first one?
yeah, they hated
Okay.
it. And they asked Rob Reiner was like, "Well, why?" They go, "Because it's fucking real, mate." You were making fun of what we were really fucking living, man. Here's the best part. Sting says, "I watch that movie a couple of times a year, and each time I don't know whether to laugh or cry." Because here's the thing. There's so many elements that they borrowed from other bands and put into that film. So the scene, oh shit, I can't. You have to see it. There's
Okay.
a Stonehenge scene, and for those of you who know the Stonehenge scene, you have to understand what they did in that was the exact opposite of what took place for Black Sabbath. when Ozzy was in Black Sabbath. They had the exact opposite sizing, and it was so big they couldn't fit it in the stadium. I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
For those of you who know, you know, and for those of you who don't, you got to watch. You got to watch the film. You got to watch the film. And in the new film, they write that wrong, and it's really funny. I've seen a clip.
Okay.
I'll leave it at that. I'm going to go see that this weekend, and I want to see it in the theater because that's how I saw the first one, and I think it's appropriate to watch the best fake band that's ever been, because they've been going since 1984.
Right.
And here's the best part. They had like all these records that didn't exist that they wrote for the film. And they were some of the songs were really, really good.
Right.
Like, really good when you consider it's a band that doesn't actually exist. I saw them. I saw a clip the other day from, I think it was Jimmy Kimmel. Was it Jimmy Kimmel? Or was it Colbert? It was one of them. It might have been Colbert. It might have been Jimmy Kimmel. And they got up and they played Big Bottom. And Big Bottom is a song off the record, Smell the Glove, which was released when they did their tour in 1984 from the original film. And the song Big Bottom, it's all bass players. So
Okay.
like literally there's the bass player, there's the lead singer and the lead guitar player. Those guys are playing bass, but they also have 2 more bass players on stage and a drummer. There's no guitar. There's 5 bass players and a keyboard player, and that's the song. And they played it the other night. Big bottom, talk about bum flaps, my gal's got 'em. It's kind of like Sir Mix-a-Lot was inspired by this song.
Okay.
Baby Got Back, there's nothing on Big Bottom, and
Okay.
I'll leave it at that. All right, I'm going to go. I am tired. Thank you for all of the love from the DAMFAM. I appreciate each and every one of you. I truly, really do. And I do miss you. I'm going to try and contribute more often. This week, I wanted every day I'd get home and I go, I got to do a Grizzly growl. It's like, I'd take Lola out, I'd come back and I'd pass out cold for like 2 hours, and I'd wake up and I'm like, and Bridget would come over. She's like, "Are you okay?" And I go, "Just," because Bridget started her new job this week too. So,
Oh yes, that's true. Yes.
yeah, we're both
Yay.
we're both celebrating our newfound. I don't know what word to use there. Newfound
Increased social standing.
I don't like the sound of that. Our newfound
Comfort.
thank you.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I'll go with that. Our newfound comfort, because the last year's been tough on both of us.
Yes.
And we managed to muscle on through. And I'm grateful for the support of the DAMFAM, because you folks have supported me in ways you don't even know. I mean, the emotional support, of course, but the financial support that you've thrown money our way. And Mr. Beaver's like, "Are you okay?" And I go, "Well," he goes, "Here," and he just send me money, and that kept me going. But it was hand to mouth. It was a difficult year. So I am grateful and thankful for each and every one of you for helping us to keep the show going and keep me going. And with that, I will see you soon.
Thank you, my friend.
You're
Thank you,
welcome.
my brother. I miss doing this with you.
Me too.
So I was glad that we were able to do this.
Well, I miss doing it too, but it's I got
life,
life.
right? Take care of the bottom of the pyramid of needs first.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
All right. You take care. See you.
All right. Grizzly time. It was, I love it. I love it when I have Grizzly time. Okay, kids and cubs, a couple of things I want to mention. And by the way, I echo Mr. Grizzly's sentiments here. Thank you, DAMFAM, for all of the support for my friend, for my brother from another mother. You guys have been wonderful. And of course, thank you for the support for me personally. But in this case, making the comments as it pertains to support for Mr. Grizzly, because, everyone has a tough time to go through at some point. That's inevitable in life. And having people who genuinely care about you and are willing to make the extra effort to let you know it in a more trying or difficult time, it helps sometimes more than you know. So thank you for being there for my friend. Before we go, get some cups. A couple of things I wanted to yeah, keep playing with play with 3D. Your grizzly growls consist of zzz now. Yes, newfound stability. Probably even a better word, Kit Jillian. Stated. Or newfound security as well, Kit Linda M. Again, DAMFAM. Again, sliding across the plate with very helpful suggestions. And for our audience who is listening, though she did not appear on camera, Mademoiselle Fox is here in the chat and wishing hello and all that love to all of you as well. And it's nice to have you with us in the chat, Mademoiselle Fox. It's always a pleasure to have your company. All right. Before we go, there's a couple of things I did want to mention as we go into the weekend, and I didn't have time for this morning. And the first one is about that Liberal leadership race for the Ontario Liberal Party. As you will know, Kits and Cubs, there's been a lot going on. We had a Nathaniel Arfin on the show. Talking a little bit about what was going on. And yes, we did show that video. There was also supposed to be a report about what happened in the election to come out. And it seems that the party was doing its best to try to have that report come out after everything, the vote had taken place. And that was not going to be on for a lot of people at all. They didn't like that idea. They weren't for it. And it caused a lot of consternation. And as a result, basically there was an uproar, and it caused the report into what may have gone not as well as it could have during the last election campaign to be released. Now, it seems that it might have been released to the Toronto Star before it had been released to the membership. And that was a move that did not make a lot of people happy as well, because that's not the way you do things, especially if you've got a leadership vote coming on. It doesn't actually send the best message in terms of feeling confident about what it is. But hopefully I will be able to read the article. Barbara, I think her name Barbara Petricino from QP Briefing had a little bit on this, so I wanted to put it in the record for you here. And it says, the Ontario Liberal Party's long-awaited post-mortem of the 2025 election campaign points to a central strategic flaw. Voters didn't hear a compelling reason to vote Liberal or for Bonnie Crombie. Released just days before the party's annual general meeting, where members will vote on Crombie's leadership, the report contains several carefully worded but unmistakable criticisms of the campaign's strategy, communications, and execution. It also offers a roadmap for reform that the debrief committee hopes will help the party regain competitiveness by the next election. Quote, voters were not presented with a clear understanding of what they would gain by voting Liberal, the report states, adding that Crombie's campaign, quote, did not sufficiently draw sharp contrasts with both the NDP and Doug Ford's record. Despite her profile as a former mayor and her strength on fundraising, Crombie remained relatively unknown to many voters. Volunteers told the debrief committee they struggled to respond to voter skepticism at the door. Without a strong communication strategy, the Liberals, quote, allowed Doug Ford to define himself, the report says, casting the premier as a steady hand during turbulent times. Sorry. Quote, we did not sufficiently challenge this narrative or connect Ford's action to the instability and economic anxiety Ontarians were experiencing, the report says. The leader also had limited staff resources with her at tour stops, which affected her performance and confidence when speaking, the report notes. While the campaign's core message focused heavily on Ontario's family doctors shortage, an issue that tested well in early polling, it proved too narrow once the writ dropped. According to the debrief, the platform failed to reflect the full range of issues that were top of mind for voters, particularly affordability and economic insecurity in the face of the threat of U.S. President Donald Trump's tariffs. Though it tested well in early research, candidates reported that the focus on doctors failed to resonate broadly enough to serve as a campaign-defining message. The platform arrived also too late, after advance voting had already closed, leaving candidates underprepared for critical early conversations with voters. Perhaps most notably, the report reveals that a minority of party members found Crombie's election tour helpful. Just 27% of respondents said the tour improved their chances of success in the riding. Even fewer, 22%, said it helped raise Crombie's visibility or boosted party performance. Quote, the Leaders Tour faced significant challenges due to a lack of resources to support tour stops and frequent last-minute changes in direction, the report states. While Crombie's credibility on healthcare measurably went up, that's a quote, during the campaign, the report notes that her tour stops were often poorly coordinated, under-resourced, and disconnected from local riding needs. Some campaign staffers told the debrief committee that Crombie's messaging wasn't supported by enough senior staff at events, affecting her confidence and performance. The committee heard that many volunteers and voters in the Southwest felt invisible while the tour bypassed their communities altogether. Participants across the board criticized the platform for being too urban focused, too light on economic positioning, and not substantive enough to be used as an effective voter engagement tool. Many reported they felt unprepared at the doors. Quote, the delay left them feeling underprepared for early voting conversations, the report said. Local campaigns also reported significant frustration with the central campaign teams. Decisions were often made late and reversed without notice, leading to confusion and missed opportunities, including in ridings where better polling could have directed more resources or a leader visit. The party lost several ridings by slim margins, the debrief notes, and it recommends improved polling and stronger tour planning going forward. The debrief contains dozens of recommendations, some operational, others strategic, including developing a platform that aligns with both liberal values and voter priorities, especially around affordability and economic opportunity, ensuring the leader is supported at all times by senior staff and allowed to be her authentic self, building out a permanent professional fundraising and organizing team to support ridings between campaigns, investing in earlier candidate nominations and better use of accurate, up-to-date voter data, modernizing digital communications and adopting stronger contrast messaging against Doug Ford. While the document makes a point of acknowledging progress since the party grew its seat count from 9 to 14 and regained official party status, it repeatedly emphasizes that the next campaign must present a clearer vision and identity. Fundraising was one of the few bright spots. Crombie helped secure donations and energize events, and the party succeeded in regaining official status in the legislature. It also paid off a $3 million loan from 2022, leaving it in a more stable financial position. However, overall campaign spending, about $12 million, fell below the $13 to $15 million range considered necessary for full provincial competitiveness. The debrief also notes the Liberals had been operating in, quote, starvation posture between campaigns, limiting their ability to build infrastructure and retain institutional memory. Quote, many respondents emphasized the need to reassert a distinct liberal identity grounded in pragmatic, values-based leadership. The campaign debrief was authored by a committee of longtime Liberal volunteers, David Morris, Emily Fears, and Paulina Osmerkina. It's being released with the support of Crombie and Party President Catherine McGarry as a gesture of accountability ahead of the AGM. Party members will soon decide whether to back Crombie's continued leadership, and many will be reading the debrief for clues about whether she can course correct. Quote, we intend this to be a practical roadmap, the authors write, not a retrospective alone. Liberal Party President Catherine McGarry called the report, quote, one of the most comprehensive reflections on our party and one of the most comprehensive reflections our party has ever undertaken, and said over 1,000 members and staff were consulted. Quote, I see this report not as the end of a conversation, but as the beginning of real action, McGarry said. We will take these grassroots-driven recommendations seriously and work to implement them. So I am guessing that since it's around 7:30, this would be about the time that people are gathering for that vote. We'll have results at some point during the course of the evening, I would suspect. I would be very surprised if we have them already. But, since I am the curious sort, I will check out Nathaniel's Twitter feed. Yeah, so far, no result, but I do see this picture, which is kind of interesting here. There he is, convention on the floor, saying big change energy. So I do not know what it is that he is hearing, or if his ear to the ground seems to be indicating that he believes that she is not going to be successful. But yeah, that's kind of what's going on at that end. Just taking another look. And nope, no results yet that he has posted. So we will find that out a little later on. The other thing I wanted to mention this morning on this morning show has something to do with Donald Trump and the country of Brazil. Actually, it has more to do with Brazil than Donald Trump. But as you know, Donald Trump tried to meddle in the country of Brazil's personal affairs because he's a personal friend of former Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro. And uh, like Trump, Bolsonaro was referred to as the Trump of the tropics during his time as president. And when he lost his election, well, he too didn't take the loss very well and felt that he should still be president afterwards, and then was alleged to have plotted to remain in power. Um, well, unlike the United States, in Brazil, uh, they were able to bring their former president to court on this and go through the whole process. And well, it says here, according to the Associated Press, a panel of Brazilian Supreme Court justices sentenced former President Jair Bolsonaro to 27 years and 3 months in prison Thursday after convicting him of attempting a coup to remain in office despite his 2022 electoral defeat. Gee, I wonder why Donald Trump imposed 50% tariffs on Brazil to try to interfere in their legal system so this decision couldn't be rendered. I wonder if it has something to do with Donald Trump fearing that maybe some Americans would get some ideas that maybe it's a good thing to jail a former president who tries to hold on to power after he is democratically told to leave. Maybe he didn't want this idea in the public consciousness in any way. But Brazil did Brazil and basically defied Trump in this case, making him look rather weak and impotent on the international scene. You just have to not comply. The article continues. The far right politician who governed Brazil between 2019 and 2022 was found guilty on 5 counts by 4 members of a 5-justice panel. The latest to rule were Carmen Lucia and Cristiano Zanin on Thursday, a day after another justice, Luis Fux, disagreed and voted to acquit the ex president of all charges. Bolsonaro is currently under house arrest in Brasilia. His lawyers have said they will appeal the verdict to the full Supreme Court of 11 justices. The ruling and sentence could deepen political divisions and prompt a backlash from the United States government. U.S. President Donald Trump said Thursday that he was, quote, very unhappy with the conviction. Speaking to reporters as he departed the White House before the sentence was announced, he said he had always found Bolsonaro to be, quote, outstanding. Yeah, at what? Bolsonaro, who denied any wrongdoing, did not attend court and sent his lawyers. The trial was widely followed in a divided Brazil, with some people backing the process against the former president while others still support him. Some took to the streets to back the far-right leader. The trial got renewed attention after Trump linked a 50% tariff on imported Brazilian goods to his allies' legal situation, calling it, quote, of course, a witch hunt. The conviction, he said Thursday, quote, is very bad for Brazil. No, it's not very bad for Brazil. It's very bad for you because now the idea that you can jail someone who's corrupt and was the leader of a country is out there in the public consciousness. It's not bad for Brazil. Bolsonaro faced accusations he attempted to illegally hang on to power after his 2022 electoral defeat to current president Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva, who has no fucks to give about Trump, by the way. Prosecutors charged Bolsonaro with a total of 5 charges. They included attempting to stage a coup, being part of an armed criminal organization, attempted violent abolition of the democratic rule of law, as well as being implicated in violence and posing a serious threat to the state's assets and listed heritage. Lawmaker Eduardo Bolsonaro, one of the former president's sons, talked about his father Thursday on his social media platforms, but instead of mentioning his father's conviction, he pushed for his amnesty, which he is seeking through Congress. Quote, "It is time to do nothing less than what is correct, just," he said. Despite his legal woes, Bolsonaro remains a powerful political player in Brazil. The far-right politician had been previously banned from running for office until 2030. In a separate case, he is expected to choose an heir who is likely to challenge President Lula da Silva next year. The ruling may push Bolsonaro's allied lawmakers to seek some amnesty for him through Congress. And if we're looking at an article here from the BBC, just waiting to see if there's anything a little different there. In this one, it says that the Supreme Court panel, because he was barred from running for elections until 2030, that has now been extended until 2060, 8 years after the end of his sentence. Wow. He was put under house arrest after being deemed a flight risk, wondering if he might try to escape to the United States, for example, where Donald Trump would certainly grant him asylum and lots of protection. Bolsonaro has said in the past that the house arrest was designed to prevent him from running in the 2026 presidential election, even though he had already been barred from public office on separate charges. He, too, has called it a witch hunt, parroting Donald Trump. Reacting to the guilty verdict, Trump said he found it very surprising and compared it to his own experience, of course. Quote, "That's very much like they tried to do with me, but they didn't get away with it at all." U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said that Brazil's Supreme Court had, quote, unjustly ruled to imprison former President Jair Bolsonaro and threatened, quote, to respond accordingly to this witch hunt. Brazil's foreign ministry reacted swiftly, posting on X that, quote, threats like the one made today by U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio in a statement that attacks a Brazilian authority and ignores the facts of the compelling evidence on record will not intimidate our democracy. So there you go. A corrupt leader has been sentenced, and I do not know if he will remain on house arrest pending appeal, whether or not he is actually going to see the inside of a jail sooner rather than later. But some accountability in Brazil that for some reason they can't manage to get through in the United States. There wasn't even a court case. It's amazing how two different democratic systems and legal systems, one can move with alacrity and the other one cannot. Oh well. A couple of things to mention, kits and cubs, because we like to celebrate Canadians who make us proud. The first one is, of course, because you know I am a tennis fan. Davis Cup tennis is happening in Halifax at the moment. Canada is taking on Israel. Unfortunately, it is not a boisterous and lively affair. Davis Cup and Billie Jean King Cup tournaments are normally, because it's country versus country, they usually engage. It comes with more audience engagement in terms of the audience being louder and making more noise and cheering. It has almost more of an atmosphere of a soccer match, really, than it does a tennis match, which makes it a lot of fun. Unfortunately, because of the situation going on, Israel and Palestine, and all the protests, it seems that there was a group of pro-Palestinians that were planning to stage, that had bought tickets and were planning to stage a protest at the event itself. According to CTV News, protesters, this is by Jesse Thomas of CTV News. Protesters plan to disrupt the Davis Cup tennis qualifiers tournament between Canada and Israel after purchasing a few dozen tickets to the event, according to a protest organizer. Isaac Saini tells CTV News the group is calling for the cancellation of this weekend's tennis tournament. Quote, "We know quite a number of tickets were purchased by protesters or by people who intended to protest the event inside of the venue," said Saini, a community activist and one of several organizers involved in a protest against the Davis Cup, which is set for the Scotiabank Centre. Demonstrators have been vocal in their opposition to the tennis match and held rallies in the lead up to the tournament. Saini calls Tennis Canada's decision to bar spectators from watching the event a small victory, but he and other opponents say it doesn't go far enough. They continue to call for the event to be cancelled altogether. Quote, "It's not a complete victory, but it's a victory," said Saini following a press conference held by protesters at the bus stop theater on Gottingen Street. "They have been forced to skunk in the shadows," said Saini, "as no athlete wants to perform without spectators." Now, here's the thing with this. I have a problem. Just like I have a problem with them having disrupted the Pride Parade in Ottawa, I have a problem with them disrupting this too, because this is an event held in Canada, and tickets for the Davis Cup, the money goes back to Tennis Canada to help fund our tennis programs. Like this, yes, our opponent is Israel. We don't get to choose our opponent. That's the luck of the draw. Because, but they came here because, and it was an event in Canada for Canadians to be able to celebrate and cheer on their own tennis players. Hopefully, Team Canada would win. But whatever the result, whatever the gate would be, that would be money that would go to Tennis Canada. Now we have Tennis Canada paying for big, uh, a big hall, a big center for 2 days, the Scotiabank Center, the rent, everybody there, with nobody in the stands whatsoever. Tennis Canada is going to lose money on this, and none of this is Tennis Canada's fault because they have no choice in who it is that they play. So all these people have done is what they call a victory is hobbling Tennis Canada and denying uh, our tennis players, especially the young up and comers, the funding that they need in order to progress to be able to represent Canada on the world stage. It's like athletes prefer to perform without spectators, but we just went through COVID where athletes performed without spectators for the longest time. This is not, it doesn't affect the athletes in any way that is material. Because in terms of the tournament itself. But what it does is it hinders our ability to fund our tennis programs. On Tuesday, Tennis Canada announced the tournament would be played in a closed venue amid, quote, escalating safety concerns flagged by local authorities and national security agencies. More than 500 Canadian athletes and academics, including Olympic runner Mo Ahmed, urged Tennis Canada to cancel the tie over Israel's actions in Gaza and the West Bank. Tennis Canada declined an interview with CTV Atlantic News on Wednesday, but in an email said they had sold about 1,500 tickets to both Friday and Saturday's game, all of which will be refunded. The 1,500 tickets is not even a third of the 5,000 tickets that were available for the matches, which will now be played in an empty arena. Saini said activists had planned to disrupt the tournament inside, but that won't happen now with the tight security. However, a rally is being planned for both days outside the arena to send their message. Saini tells CTV News that demonstrations have and will continue to be peaceful. It's not clear if Tennis Canada made its decision to bar spectators based on this information. But Saini confirmed police reached out to him Wednesday morning to find out more about their planned demonstrations. Quote, they were going to go in there to display Palestinian flags, perhaps, and to shout slogans, who emphasized he wasn't part of the plans to demonstrate inside the venue. Israel's ambassador to Canada, Ido Moed, shared a social media post Tuesday thanking Halifax Mayor Andy Fillmore and Tennis Canada CEO Gavin Ziv for their, quote, steadfast commitment to ensuring that the Davis Cup matches between Israel and Canada proceed as scheduled. Quote, however, it is deeply troubling that extreme protesters have created an unsafe and hostile environment that threatens the safety of fans, players, and staff attending these matches. International sports should transcend political agendas, an arena where we celebrate excellence, unity, and the shared spirit of humanity. It must remain free of hate, violence, and incitement. As a prominent liberal democracy, Canada bears a responsibility to ensure the safety of all people and to reject attempts by any form of extremism to control the public domain. Events East, which manages and oversees events at Halifax Scotiabank Centre, declined an interview request with CTV News before Wednesday, but said in a statement an economic analysis completed before the tournament estimated it could bring in $2 to $2.5 million for the local economy. That is gone, but those projections were made well before the decision to bar fans from attending the event. And here's the other thing that happened is that we're also not getting the best quality competition because Israel did not send their best players. The two players that they sent, one is ranked in the 1,100s in the world, and the other is ranked in the 700s in the world. So I guess Israel sent two players that they could afford to spare, I guess. Um, the first two matches are over. Canada is leading 2-0. They need to win one more match, and that will be it for the tie. There might be more games. Usually, the other games, if it's over 3, there are shorter games, a little bit of exhibition. I'm not even going to see what the point is of playing them, given that there's nobody to play them for. So Liam Drexel and Gabriel Diallo won their matches today, and Liam Drexel and Cleve Harper will be playing their doubles match to start off tomorrow. And if they win, that will be the end of the tie. For Cleve Harper, it will be his first time representing Team Canada at the Davis Cup, and he will become the 90th player in Canadian history to don the maple leaf to be on the court and play in a Davis Cup. Cleve Harper is our number one doubles player who recently entered the top 100 in the world and recently played at the US Open, which is his first Grand Slam, and won his first round match with his partner. And so he's an up-and-comer. Unfortunately, denied the full experience, but still is going to get to play for Canada, and I'm sure it's still going to be memorable no matter what. Other news, kids and cubs, as well, the World Track and Field or Athletics Championships are going on. They have just started. The first events are underway, and the first event is the 35-kilometer race walk, where we have Evan Dunphy, former Olympic medalist, in the race representing Canada for the men. And there will be more events over, but that race is going on right now, and hopefully he is doing well in there. Also, over the course of the weekend, the World Boxing Championships are going on as well. We had 8 Canadians in contention, and we have one remaining in the women's category. Her first name is Penny. Can't remember her last name off the top of my head, but she has advanced to the semi-final. But we've had 2 other boxers, male boxers, reach the quarterfinals as well at the World Championships. So that's good. And I also forgot to mention, at the World Athletics Championships, we are sending a team that is particularly stacked, which is quite interesting for us. Probably the best team we have ever sent in quite a long time, perhaps even ever, to a World Athletics Championships. We have in the 800 meter alone, we have 4 Canadian athletes, which is competing, which is absolutely amazing. According to Justin Piercy of CBC Sports, when this year's World Athletic Championships get underway, a record number of Canadians will be looking to repeat as champions. But those 4 athletes, hammer throwers Cameron Rogers and Ethan Katzberg, decathlete Pierce Lepage, and 800-meter runner Marco Arup, aren't the only ones expected to challenge for gold. Canada is sending a total of 59 athletes, 30 men and 29 women, its largest ever contingent to compete at the World Championships, and Athletics Canada head coach Glenn Roy Gilbert, who of course won gold in the relay in Atlanta with Donovan Bailey and everyone else, believes the team's strength lies in its depth. Quote, I think we've got a really balanced group of athletes. We've got throws, we've got jumps, multi-events, we've got the sprint side, we've got walks, Gilbert said from the Canadian team's training camp in Gifu, Japan. When you look across all our event groups, I think we're very well represented, and I think that we can certainly expect some good competition from a few of those event groups. The team features a mix of established veterans and youngsters, but Gilbert wants to see the same thing from each member of the team in Tokyo as the push towards the next Olympic Games begins. Quote, I'm hoping to see what we call performance on demand, which is stepping up and performing when it counts the most. And that's at major championships, he said. So I want to see some of the newcomers come away with personal bests, seasonal bests, this type of stuff, and possibly getting to semifinals and finals. You're looking to see how your veterans are going to perform, but also how some of the newcomers are going to be coming through. And that's how we pretty much gauge performance, at least through the pathway between now and LA 2028. When it comes to performing in high-pressure situations, no one has been as consistently dominant as Rogers and Katzberg. Canada has historically been known as a force on the track, but it's the field events that now feature arguably the biggest hopes of taking world titles this year. The hammer throwers are both coming off Olympic gold medal wins in Paris, and the team also boasts a world champion caliber shot putter in Sarah Mitten. Gilbert believes this sudden surge of talent in the throw sports has been enhanced by top-notch training and coaching. Quote, well, I think when you look at a person like Sarah, for instance, she's got a great coach in Richard Parkinson who really does an amazing job around planning and prioritization. And they have a really nice relationship and have been able to build that successfully through the Diamond Leagues, Gilbert said. Rogers and Katzberg are out west, and they've got a great throw program out there, grassroots stuff that has led to some of this. Even training with Dylan Armstrong, a former Olympic medalist himself and a shot putter, Dylan understands and knows what's required. So I think they're all uniquely positioned with coaches and with training environments that speak to high performance results. Minton, who won silver at the 2023 Worlds, came frustratingly close to repeating as the Diamond League final champ 2 years ago. The Brooklyn, Nova Scotia native lost the trophy after a successful protest wiped out what had been considered a winning and season's best throw of 20 meters 67. Gilbert is confident Minton has already put that disappointment in the rearview mirror and is focused on the task at hand. Quote, the Diamond League final, that's over. You got to be able in track and field to have a short memory, he said. You've got to let it go, and I'm pretty sure between her and Richard, they've talked about it, we've gone through it, they have debriefed the entire thing. It's time to move to the side and focus on winning the World Championships. Quote, the last time around she was a silver medalist. She's more than capable of winning because she is, as far as I'm concerned, a #1 thrower in the world right now in women's shot put. Minton shrugged off the disappointment at a warm-up event on Sunday, scoring a win with a 19.81-meter throw at the World Athletics Continental Tour Gold meet in Beijing. A historically consistent source of success for the Canadian team is the 4x100-meter relay. Gilbert is very encouraged by what he saw from Canada's teams this season and is hopeful of podium finishes for both the men's and women's foursomes. That may be par for the course for the highly decorated men's team of Andre DeGrasse, Aaron Brown, Jerome Blake, and Brendan Rodney, but Gilbert also sees the women's team on the rise. Audrey Leduc, Jacqueline Madogo, Sadie McCreath, and Marie-Héloïse Leclerc combined to set a new Canadian record of 42.46 seconds at the World Athletics Relays this past May. Quote, the women I'm really excited about because I do believe they have the pieces to possibly sneak onto the podium. It's not going to be easy and they're going to have to be pretty good, but I believe they're in a place right now where they can convert, Gilbert said. It's for us to kind of get them to believe that they're capable of doing it and hopefully to be able to do it on the day. Quote, now, can they hold it together under the pressure? That's a different thing altogether. But if we're looking simply at the individual bodies that are on the track and what they're capable of, yeah, I think they can get there. Gilbert believes that the veteran men's 4x100 team, who are the reigning Olympic champions and won a world title together in 2022, has another world title performance in them, but everything needs to line up on race day. Quote, as long as the guys stick to the fundamentals and they really kind of like gel the way they've been gelling, he said, I think that they can make the final. I think they can win a medal. I think they can win it. It's not going to be easy, but it's never easy with a 4x100, right? So as long as everybody kind of comes together when it's time to run, I mean, last year at the Olympics, none of them made a final in an open event, but then they stepped onto the track and delivered an Olympic gold medal. So my hope was that they continue like that. Gilbert said Tokyo should also help identify which next generation athletes to keep an eye on ahead of the next Summer Games, which already includes Christopher Morales Williams and Savannah Sutherland. Morales Williams, a 21-year-old from Maple, Ontario, set the Canadian men's record in the 400 meters at 44.05 seconds in May of 2024 and is in his first full pro season. Sutherland, a 23-year-old from Borden, Saskatchewan, ended her collegiate career with a bang, setting a new Canadian record as well as NCAA record in the women's 400-meter hurdles, 52.46 seconds, in June. The latter mark had been previously held by American superstar Cindy McLaughlin-Levrone, who holds the world record in the discipline. Quote, honestly, I'm trying to keep my expectations low. The first thing is to make the final like I did last year, Sutherland told CBC Sports in July. It's a super competitive event right now, and I feel like anything can happen, especially when there's hurdles involved. So I'm just kind of trying to keep my head on straight and hopefully finish higher than I did last year. Just as long as I'm making progress, I think that's enough for me. Both Morales and Williams and Sutherland represent a bright future for Canadian track, Gilbert said, and these World Championships are a perfect place for them to make a statement on the world stage. Morales Williams' meteoric rise to where he has been unprecedented, similar to Savannah. I was at the NCAAs this year and I watched her break Sydney's record. It was insane to witness and she made it look so easy. As far as I'm concerned, these are definitely two of the future athletes of Canadian track and field, Gilbert said. I think the World Championships are going to give them an opportunity to showcase that. Ultimately, I think they're thinking about obviously making a final and threatening hopefully to get on the podium. That's what this is all about. So we're going to cheer them on. And there are two other events. There's the Pacific Nations rugby competition, and then there's the Women's World Cup playing as well. The Women's World Cup, I believe Canada's playing Australia in the semifinal. Canada is the #2 ranked team in the world, so not surprising that they've made it to the semifinal, but still good to see the team performing. So there is a lot for us to cheer for over the course of the weekend. All right, kids and cubs, I think that that's everything for this evening. So thank you so much for joining us this evening for a special bonus beaver. We are so glad that you did, and we love it when you share our content, of course. So please do that because sharing is caring. Now, kids and cubs, if you would like to help us to help you as we like to do, I'm tripping over my tongue. Let me try that again. If you would like us to help you because you might be busy and on the go and don't have time to watch the show, well, you might want to take us with you when you have to do that because we are portable. And thanks to the Ray Girl, we have a pod page, podpage.com/ the true north eager beaver with a hyphen between each one of those words. And when you go there and click subscribe, when we have a podcast version of our show available, it comes to your podcast feed. You find it there waiting for you. You click on it, and there we are. So you get to remain informed and take on the day. Now, if you would like to help us, please surf on down to the True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated YouTube page. We are growing and getting close to 23,000, I believe it is. So thank you, everyone who's been subscribing over the past few days. Very much appreciate it. Click on all our buttons, like, share, and subscribe. It helps us with the algorithm. Now, if you'd like to help us in other ways, kids and cubs, you can make a donation to the Eager Beaver Lodge Emergency Hydration Fund, because if you like our content and it resonates with you, you might want to encourage us to do more, and we do incur some costs to bring this show to you. The QR code that's just appearing now will bring you right there, and the address is ko-fi.com/eagerbeaver, all in one word. And when you drop a couple of toonies or loonies into our tip jar, not only does it make a lovely sound, which is music to our ears, but it does indeed help us keep on bringing the show to you because we are entirely self-funding, either what we put into it, what we get from you, and advertising revenue that we get from YouTube. So thank you for your contributions. They really do mean the world to us. Because democracy is something that you do, kids and cubs, forever-canadian.ca, where you can put your name on the list to ensure that a citizens initiative ballot question about keeping Alberta within Canada gets to make it for a vote, and also barring the other side from presenting a similar question, but on the other side of it for 5 years. But the signatures have to be made in person and they have to be witnessed. So you need to go to one of those pop-up signature collection places. So please go to the website and to find out where they are. And of course, if you'd like to sign up to be a canvasser yourself or to donate to the cause, because they too incur some costs in order to be able to make this campaign happen, that would be greatly appreciated. What else do we have? Words of wisdom. I should have asked Mr. Grizzly for words of wisdom. Darn. I'm just going to say practice a little gratitude. Put a little gratitude in your attitude this weekend. There you go. That's my words of wisdom. Kids, it could be a tough world out there. So please be kind to and gentle with yourself. And at the count of 3, may I have well, actually, before I do that, I won't do an Easter egg because I've talked enough today. So I'm just going to ask you to say, Mr. Beaver, please cue the cock. And I will wish you a wonderful weekend with lots of amour et des bisous for you and all of yours. So on the count of 3, 1, 2, 3. You are so lovely and wonderful. How can I say no to you? I just can't. You are listening to a True North Eager Beaver Media Incorporated podcast. The True North Eager Beaver podcasts are proudly brought to you by our founding sponsors, the Misfit Mysteries from Corvid Moon Publishing, your source for science fiction, fantasy, and cozy mysteries featuring a broad diversity of characters. CanadianTarot.com, their uniquely Canadian online eclectic tarot community, and The Peppermaster, hot pepper sauces made from farm-fresh ingredients to thrill your taste buds and expand your mind. We are grateful to the Crier Media Network for its support, Pete Jarvis for our artwork, and Paul Joseph Something for our opening and closing sequence music.